I'm Stan Moot, CTO at IBM, and as you may know, I'm always on the security bandwagon. People seem to ignore it, but they've got to get into that. And I've got a guest today, Shane here from Friend MTS, and just tell us what you do in a nutshell.
Hi Stan, nice to meet you. So we're essentially known as a watermarking company, but what we really do is kind of anti-piracy services. We don't necessarily secure content, but we tell you where your content's leaking, how it's leaking, and we can help you take that leaky content down.
So let's just talk about the important considerations people need to think about.
I think we all know that piracy is a real problem now. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, an illicit industry nonetheless, but it's a multi-billion-dollar industry globally. It is growing, and for content originators or content owners that are licensing in their own content, they're paying, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars for particular pieces of content. They don't want that to be used on pirate services where they're losing revenue. So security is a real issue.
So what are the key considerations people need to look at?
I think security in our world now, in the media world now, it needs to be, you need to understand the threat landscape. I think if you go back 10 or 15 years ago, security, I would have said, is a bit more of there was a static view to security. You did something once and it probably lasted for 2 or 3 years. I think now with IP delivery, OTT, there are more areas in the content delivery chain where pirates can expose weaknesses, get access to content, and pirated content generally is pretty high quality these days. So security has to be an evolving thing. It's a partnership really between a security vendor, and it could be multiple security vendors, and a content owner.
Well, let's talk about blocking. We hear blocking in the news all the time,
yeah.
And is that really disabling, et cetera, et cetera? So is that really where it's going?
I think blocking is one of the tools. I think like any kind of cybersecurity company, you don't have just one tool, you've got multiple tools. Dynamic server blocking is something that we are, I think, known for. We're the pioneers in that market. We're deploying that now in a number of markets globally. Dynamic server blocking really is about blocking kind of specific IP address in a dynamic way in real time. But there are aspects to that over and above just the technology. You've got to get a court order generally in some jurisdictions to be able to implement that. So that's either the content originator or the content distributor that would apply for that court order. We work with the content originators and distributors in that legal process. We now know how that works. We know what's required. We have a lot of the intelligence and understanding to make that a pretty slick process. And then we're really feeding the local ISPs to say, you need to block this IP address. And we're doing that in real time. And where we really find that highly effective is in live sports, where you're quite time constrained. Dynamic server blocking has got a significantly high efficacy rate. Its hit rates, it's pretty lethal.
And which type of events have you used that in?
Football, I guess, is what we would be mainly known for. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of football in around Europe. And we see that as that's a tool now that we're taking not just for live sports worldwide, but into the VOD space as well. So it's not just live sports that we're doing. And as I said, we're kind of pioneers in that area, and it is highly, highly effective.
Yeah, well, great chat today, Shane, and there's no question that, when we get into security, we've got to look at, all the pirates out there and deal with them. Thanks for the chat.
Thanks, Dan.